Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, ClaudiaHendersonCreations. I know I have been absent for a while and I'm really sorry, but time was just not on my side. I mean, October, November went bye-bye like in no time, and November was very busy. I had crops, I had weekend crops, I had craft shows, and I had my classes, so it was really busy. And then on top, I'm just rearranging my craft room slash office. So I have 2 new shelves coming in, and I literally have boxes from the crop still sitting everywhere here, plus all the new things that are coming. And if you stay tuned, I will give you a little sneak peek of what's coming in January. And it is January 7th when we will have the opportunity to see the new January, April mini catalog. So stay tuned for those. Okay, but as of right now, we're gonna make 3 cards today, and these are the 2 sets that I'm gonna use. Actually, the Spotlight on Nature, I use the Things, and the Dainty Delight, I will use Thank You for Your Kindness. So whatever you have, you can use. I also am using, these are die cuts from my Cricut machine, simply because I do a lot for the card classes and it is hard to crank so many things through the machine. But if you have this set and you have the matching dies that come with it, you can stamp a couple of flowers like these 2 here, for example, and then just die cut them. That will work well too if you don't have these ones that I'm using here. All right, so let's get going. Another thing, so Stampin' Up, what I really like about having now 8.5 by 11 paper, which we never used to, they make great card bases. And Stampin' Up, they have envelopes for A2 cards. And the card bases you simply make from an 8.5 by 11. If you don't know how this works and how this goes, stay tuned till the end of the video and I will show you the easiest way to get your card bases done from an 8.5 by 11. So this one is Misty Moonlight, and this is like a 4.25 by 11 and scored at 5.5. And then we have this inside piece as like 4 inches by 5, and we stamped the Thank You for Your Kindness in black. And then we have a couple of papers on the outside. So let's look into our little envelope and pull out what's in it. And a nice thing too, when you make your own card bases, is you can have them in different ways opening. So here's the paper. It is 5.25 by 2. And this little piece is 1.5 by 4. And then we have a 1/4 inch by 4.25. And this is glitter paper from my stash. These papers are Secret Garden paper from Close to My Heart that was sold through Stampin' Up. You still can get the workshop kit with these paper packs. There's also this paper, this is called the Cardstock, I think it is called. It looks like regular cardstock, but it's actually this double-sided design paper. It's really nice. It's got a lot of different colors in here, and what I like is that the one side has little dots, so it's called Coordinating Cardstock Secret Garden, but it is not really cardstock, it is design paper. Sorry about the noises. And you can see it comes in different colors, and it's got this diamond shape on one side and the back side has polka dots. So really cute and a nice paper to mix. And then the Secret Garden paper itself has these really pretty flowers, so really nice one. Let's get this one in to the inside, and I already stamped it, so you don't have to watch me do this. You know how this goes. So I'm just centering this somewhat here on the inside. And then we put the paper on the outside. So let's start with this one. And yep. And you can do this with any papers you have. It's just a simple, quick design. And we're just lining it up so you have a nice even spacing here on these three sides. And then we do this paper. And this is kind of like about here. And then we have our glitter paper. And I did cut in a little V on one side, so the center, and then I'm just going from corner to the tip, and then from corner to the tip. And there's my little V-shaped. And I'm putting a little bit adhesive on here. And I'm using liquid adhesive. The glitter paper sometimes is a little bit harder to adhere. And the only thing I wanted to make sure was that, you know, there's a little bit of this design paper showing here. So my strip goes somewhere about here. And the reason being, if you move it too far down, then it's kind of like hanging in dead air. So this way it's more anchored. And I use this little sponge dauber, and there's still some black on here. Go around the edges, and you can go around the papers too if you like. I think I did with this one. I didn't do it with this one, but that's okay. And let's do it around this one here too, just a little bit. And you can use gray or whatever color you have. Okay, so let's put on the things first. Okay, so this will go in here. And I'm going to use some glue dots because I want a tiny little lift, but not a lot. And then we just adhere these ones here. And again, it doesn't need a lot. I'm just doing a few dots here and there. And kind of tucking this behind here. And then we're doing the green. Same thing, just a little bit of adhesive here. And then we're putting this somewhere here. And then I'm just grabbing some glue dots. So I usually recommend to just buy the small or the itty bitty ones. I do have a few big ones left here, but if you don't have the big ones, then just grab a couple of small ones, put them together. The majority of time you will be using the small dots, and it's a pain to cut these big ones down and use them otherwise. So I just think it's more economically when you just buy the smaller ones, and in the event you need a bigger one, you just use a couple of those. Okay, so this way it stands up just a little bit, and it for sure will adhere to the glitter paper because the glitter paper can be stubborn. Okay, and then instead of putting adhesive on the back of my sequins, you can use glue dots again. In this case it would be the small ones, or if you use liquid glue, that's what I do. I'm usually just taking my glue and put it directly to the card, and then I just use this little pickup tool. So this is like a wax type of pen to pick up these little things. We have a pickup tool from Stampin' Up. I think mine is somewhere in one of the boxes. Unboxed it yet. It has that little sticky on the front, and that helps too. So this just needs to dry, and there we have our first card. For the inside I did some doodling. You don't need to do this. I know this is sometimes the hardest part for everyone, but all I did was I did a little swirly and then do another swirly and go down the sides, and then we do another one here. And you can do faux stitching or whatever you want to do, just frame it in a little bit. All right, and there we have our first card. Simple, easy, and really fun to make. And like I said, stay tuned till all the way till the end after we did the third card, and I will show you how to cut your card bases. All right, let's go and get the second card. So this is our card number 2 for today that we are gonna make. So this one is a little bit different, and as you can see, it has a different stem set, and this is actually a little sneak peek of the upcoming new January till April mini catalog, as well as you know, there's a celebration going on in January, but I will talk about this more when it's time. So this is a sneak peek, so you can see a little bit what stems I already have ordered. This one is the one I thought is really cool because it's called Spring Corners, and everything comes aligned in a corner, which is really cool to make some very interesting stems. They're great phrases. So overall, this is one of my sets that I thought I have to have, and I will show you in the last card there are a couple more sneak peeks. So when we go through the catalog, I can't show you the catalog yet, but I can show you some of the products, so be sure to check this out because I think this is a really good one. All right, so we're going to use this one. And then this is paper from my stash, including the glitter paper. This is close to my heart paper, so I'm still using it, what I have. We have the happy birthday stamped here. This is from this set as well. And then this is cut with the Cricut, this little shape. You can use whatever tag shape you have. I just, like I always say, I prepare for card classes and I need a lot. So let's see what we have done here. So the card base is actually an 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And then I marked this little edge here, which was in my case 2 3/4. And you just mark it, and then you use your stylus and the scoring board if you have, and just go along the edge and go a couple of times. If you don't have a scoring board, you can just use a ruler, and you just make sure that you go from this corner that you marked, or from this point that you marked, down to the corner of the card. Score it a couple times so when you fold it over, you know, the edge, the paper doesn't break and it's nicely smooth. And then for the little strips, let's check out what we have in here. All right, so we need a couple of paper strips. Let me pull this out. So here you can see the card base. So this was the base, and then I marked it here, and then I just scored it from this marked spot till the corner here and fold it over. So that's pretty much our card base. These are the little tags, our decorations. This goes on the inside. So these are the papers for the outside, and as you can see, they're all in different length and in different widths, but that's because we are going in an angle, and I made it fit that angle that we folded here. So the first two stripes, which are these two, they are a little bit longer, so they are 1 inch by 5 3/4, both of them. Then this one here is about quarter, a little bit over a quarter, so let's say this is a 6/8, something like that, and it's also 5 3/4 length. Then this strip is a little bit smaller, so this is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, and then this piece is 1 3/4 by 4. And you might go like, well, what am I supposed to do with all of these? So it is really super easy once you have them cut to size. And I will put this aside for now. So this is the way we're gonna use them on the card, exactly like I shown here. And I'm gonna take my card base, and the easiest way I found to adhere this is to put adhesive on this entire field, not this triangle for now, just the rest of the field. So let me get my adhesive out, and I'm gonna go as close as I can to the edges. And you can use liquid adhesive, whatever adhesive you want to use. And I'm just gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go in between just a few times. Doesn't need a lot, but oops, and this one is at the end. Oh, lasted right till the end. Perfect. Okay, so here's our, this is the card facing me. This is our corner here, and this is the order we're gonna put them in. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that the strip doesn't end here and leaves you an open corner. We want to make sure that the entire strip is going all the way across the paper. And I'm doing this side up because it's a little bit easier for me. So I line up, or we can do it this way too. I'll line up my paper strip with the corner and this corner here so they fit. And then I'm just gonna go right along the edge here of my fold line and push this down. And you can see that this corner here goes right till the end of the card. And don't worry, whatever is sticking out, we're gonna cut off later. So now the next thing is this strip. This is the same width. We want to make sure you don't line it up so you have a white piece here. We want to move it up so it actually fits. And the easiest way again is when you're putting your paper down, make sure that this corner lines up right here, covers all the white, and then you just line it up with the strip right there. All right, now we're gonna do the glitter paper, and this is long enough where you can just space it. This should go, should be extra overhang on both sides. Everything's covered. Now we have this one here, same with this one. We just want to make sure this is all covered. And then our last one, we just want to make sure that we cover the entire piece. There you go. And in the event you are short here at the edge or somewhere else, you can always take some of the pieces that we're going to cut off in a second and adhere them. But this is what it looks like. So there's a lot of overhang on this side, and what we're gonna do next is I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm just gonna go along the edges and snip it off. And you just follow your card base, and it's easier to do this from the back side. And if you have a longer scissor, but I'm using these ones. And one more down here. And it's really easy to clean this up. And voila, there's our card front. So all this can go in the garbage, or if you want to decorate your envelope with a few pieces, that's up to you. Now we have to add a little bit adhesive on here to close this flap. And then we're gonna have our little tag here. And I'm gonna put the happy birthday on first. And you can raise this or you can leave it flat. So I put this one on flat, but I did raise the entire piece a little bit with just a few foam adhesives or dimensionals, whatever you have at home. And I'm gonna place this over the edge here. And then we have our little flowers. Whoops. And sometimes the glue dots are not that sticky anymore. Here we go. Just pushing it down on the paper should take care of it. All right. And then I just took a black pen and did a few little dots. And we're good to go. For the inside, you can do some doodles if you want to, but I figured just putting down a little bit of the glitter piece here will make it nice and sparkly. And then we have our phrase on the side. And there you go. And to determine where you have to do the fold, depending on which of those phrases you use, some a little bit shorter, some a little bit longer, you just want to mark a little bit off. So the wishes, the W starts here, so like a 1/4 inch over, that's where you mark, and then take your measurements to make this corner here. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and a different card idea, quick and easy. And like I said, look out for this one to come soon, and I will see you back here with another card in a moment. Thanks. So here we are with the third card for today, and this is what it's gonna look like when we're all finished with it. And I'm actually using, again, giving you a little sneak peek of what is coming in January, starting January, I think it is the 7th. One stamp set that I really love, it's called Elements of Text, and it's got all these cool background stamps in it, so you can always use splashes, but I really love these script ones, and these are big, so we're going to use this one today, and I will show you those more in detail once the time comes. And then Delightful Wishes, so this is a bundle. I have the dice with it too, but today we're gonna use the Wishing You a Happy Birthday from this set. So let's put these aside, and you can see it is stamped on the inside here. And I also stamped the circle with our script. So let's get going here, and wait till the end. Like I said at the beginning, I will show you how to cut your own card bases. All right. For the inks, so I'm going to use the Toffee ink, which is close to my heart, or you can use the Pecan Pie from Stampin' Up. So either or will work, or any light brown you have. All right, let's see. So we have a card base, and this card base is 4 1/4 by 11, and then scored in half. And then we have a couple of pieces of design paper. So the biggest piece is 1 1/2 by 4, and then the smaller piece is 1 by 4. And then I have one for the inside, which is a little bit smaller than 1/2 inch by 4 inches. We have a few little sprigs and little sticks that are cut with the Cricut, but if you have a die, I just prepped this for class and I have too many attendees to just crank it through the machine, so I usually use my Cricut to cut these things. But if you have any dies, and there are so many standalone dies from Stampin' Up! You can use just to embellish the card. This is an old set from Close to My Heart, some leftovers. These are little flat little flowers, but you could use just some bling. And then I used a little bit of twine and made a little bow, and that's all we need for right now. So for the beginning, I used the toffee ink or pecan pie, whatever you have, and just a little sponge tool, and just went around the edges. And you don't have to do it, but I think it works fine. Oh, and the paper is actually from a Close to My Heart set that was available, or still is available as of me filming this video, from Stampin' Up! And it's called Secret Garden. And the Secret Garden is under the category Close to My Heart products online. And it is the workshop kit that includes the entire paper pack. So this is where this paper is from. And I'm using the toffee because it's just a light touch. Can't really tell. And I like it for the background. So when we stamp the background, it's not a big, bold image. It's really just a soft image. And works well with the card. Okay. Okie doke. Let's do the stamping too. So we're gonna stamp once on here, and I will move this up a little bit, so I might go off the image here a little bit, the card base, so I'm not all the way down here, somewhere in the center, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we also gonna stamp this on the inside, and I'm just gonna stamp this right over my phrase, and the phrase on the front and the inside are stamped in black ink. All right, so there you have it, and I think this just enhances our card with the stamped image in the background, and this will lighten up a little bit too. So now I'm gonna take the smaller strip, so the a little bit on the 1/2 inch by 4, and this goes on the inside. Let's do this first, and then we do the outside. Now this one here I pre-stamped for everybody. What I did was I used this piece and adhered it down here, and then lined up my stamp to make sure it fits in between. So if you're doing this at home and you want to try something similar, just make sure that you maybe put your paper in, the first paper in here, and then line up your stamp, and then line up the other image. Okay, let's put this one on top here. And this just lines up, so we leave a little bit even spacing around because they are 4 inches wide and our card is 4 1/4, so we have a little bit on either side. And we put this one down here, and when it comes to arrange these, that's up to you. So I did mine somewhere over here, and I'm just gonna use my glue here. This is the Tombow liquid adhesive, you know, in the white bottle. I just filled it in these tiny little bottles because they have a fine tip. Makes it easier to apply. I should use tweezers. Okay, let's put this one somewhere over here. And then we use our little twig. Doesn't need a lot of adhesive, just a tiny little bit. And you can overlap them, or depending on which ones you use, just so it decorates the top here a little bit. I'm gonna do this here. And then I'm gonna take this one here. And again, just adding a little bit of adhesive. Getting this on the card. And then our bow, I suggest just using a glue dot. And I have these small glue dots here. I'm just gonna pick up one. And set this one right here. And then we use our little like bursts and just spread them out a little bit. And there you have it. If your bow is a little bit too small, you can make it bigger if you need to. Just work with it. Or if these things are too long, then I'm just snipping them off once they're on the card. So don't snip them off before, wait till you're done. And that is it for this card. So super easy, super quick, using one of the new upcoming stems. I hope you enjoyed these cards that we made today, and I promise I'll be back more often again. Now in December things are slowing down, so I should have time to get back on my crafting table. So right now it's a little bit chaotic, but it will be all fine and good. Perfect time to clean out some stuff and get ready for next year. So stay tuned. And here, as promised, is my little tip of the day. So if you're not familiar how to get your card bases from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So the reason why I really love that we now are able to get these is close to my heart used to have only 12 by 12, and yes, you can cut yourself a sheet of 8.5 by 11 out of it, make 2 card bases, but you also have a lot of paper left. These ones here will make 2 card bases of each 8.5 by 11, and these are regular A2 cards, so at the end folded there will be 4.25 by 5.5. And what I like to do is I show you 2 different versions. So let's put the trimmer away for now. I have a scoring board. Card basis number 1 is I'm taking the entire sheet here and I'm lining this up. So here's the 11-inch side, here's the 8.5, and I'm just scoring down at 5.5. And I'm just using my stylus. There are these little bone folders in here, but I happen to like the control of the stylus a little bit better. So this is the tip, and I'm just going down like 2 or 3 times with some pressure, not too hard, but some pressure. And then so you have a groove here, and on the back side you see this little ridge. So that is 1. Now you could also take the same sheet, and this time we line it up at 8.5 by 11, and we're taking, so this was half, right? This was 11, and we scored at 5.5, which is half of this distance. Now we're taking the 8.5 side on top here, and we're scoring at half the distance, which is 8.5 is 4.25. So, and this is the long way, so I just have to concentrate not to get off my track here, like so. It sometimes happens, so especially when you have to do the long score lines, but that's all good. Okay, now I'm doing this again. Once you have the first one in, it's usually easy to go over this again. So just make sure when you go the first time, you go slow. Okay. So this is all we need for our scoring. Let's put the board away. So we have one scored here and we have one scored here. Now we cut this. So let's get our paper trimmer in here. Okay, so this is the piece where we had the 11-inch side on top and we scored at 5.5. Naturally, if I want to cut this in half, I don't want to cut along the 5.5 because that defeats the purpose of making the fold first. So we're turning it around, and now this is the 8.5 inch side. So I'm lining it up at half of it, so 4 1/4 again. And then I'm just cutting down, and I have 2 halves. These are 2 card bases, and you just take your bone folder and it actually kind of like easily folds right into half. And this one, same thing. So there's my there's the valley and here's the little hill. So I like to fold mine this way and then just score over with the bone folder. So now I have 2 card bases that are top folded. So you can use them this way or you can use it this way. So 2 card bases. Now for this one, we do the opposite. So we scored down here at 4 1/4. We don't want to cut there, so we flip it around to the long side. Now this is 11, and we want to cut this at the half point, which is 5.5. So let's line this up at 5.5. Cut this down in the center. Let me remove my trimmer here out of the way. So now we have the same thing. Here's the groove. There's the little hill, and I'm just folding it in half and going over with my score bone folder. And they naturally fall in place. And here you have the long side fold, so it either opens this way or you can have it opening this way. So depending on where you cut and fold, these are all the same size, just different ways. These have the shorter side as the fold, these have the longer side. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Otherwise, I see you back here next week with a couple videos. One will be a tutorial about using the new kit collection box with the watercolor pencil. So if you haven't seen this or you haven't tried this or you wonder what you do with it, stay tuned and I will explain to you how this works. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.